All right, everybody, welcome to the HFG Show Special Edition. We're only doing this on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. I am here with, I know you're not comfortable with this, but one of my mentors. One of my fishing mentors. This is Danny Chamizo.
Hey, guys.
Welcome to the show. We had an agreement. This poster back here was hanging in his house for the longest time. He actually donated it to the studio, back to the studio. And one of the catches was you had to come join us on the do a podcast.
Yeah.
So here we are. The reason why I had Danny come over here right now is yesterday was Sunday, right? No, Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday, Danny weighed in Ulua at the KKC Casting Club tournament. You won the side jackpot.
Yeah.
For biggest Ulua, 52.25 pounds at the tournament.
Yep.
And he just went through and told me the entire story of that catch. And I'm just like, the whole time you were talking, I'm like, bro, you burning the whole story. This is what people want to hear on the show. So rather than get right into that story,
Okay.
I want you to tell me about the night before you caught that one.
Okay.
You lost a fish.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, we're not going to talk about where you was fishing.
Well, I don't have a problem with that.
No, I do.
Okay.
I
Okay.
do.
All right.
So you fished one spot the entire tournament.
Yeah.
Now, did you Friday morning you were there?
Friday morning at 6 a.m., 5 a.m. It
5
starts
a.m.
at 6. Yeah.
It starts at, you were there
Yeah.
at 5, you didn't
Yeah.
cast your rod until your 6 a.m.
Right.
Did you go home during the daytime?
No.
No, you stayed out there the whole time?
Yeah.
Little umbrella. That's it.
Just a handheld umbrella.
the whole time?
Yeah.
Did you go home at all during the entire couple days?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I got 5 hours of sleep in 2 days.
All right.
Yeah.
Hammer.
Yeah.
Tournament status where
Yeah.
you just lose sleep. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So you just stayed in that one spot. The first night, Friday night, you lost something.
Yeah.
Tell me about that bite.
So Friday, I was looking for the peak tide.
Where the tide goes up.
At
up
the
and over.
very peak. The spot I go to, it's a spot I know. I've been fishing there for a while.
Yeah.
It's a bait casting spot. I think 3:30, 4 o'clock, whatever was the peak tide.
In the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Saturday morning.
All right.
Made a rookie mistake. Didn't change my line.
What do you mean you say change your line?
I didn't put new line. Every tournament, you should always put new line. I don't care if it's a week old. You change your line.
For that day, for that weekend.
For that tournament.
How long was the line on your reel, you think?
I would say about a month. It was still
Wow.
good. But so about 3:30, I had already caught a small papio an hour earlier, about 5 pounds. At about 3:30 in the morning, I took a strike, 10 seconds, cut.
Zzz, snap.
That was it. Gone. 10
Was
seconds.
there a snap, like a tension release?
No, nothing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. No, because I don't have real tight drag.
Yeah.
So it just cut. Yeah. And that was the end of the day, that night.
Did you cast out again after that?
I did.
Did you change your line?
I did. No, I didn't
No.
have any.
Ah.
Yeah, got to go light.
So just a little insight, so you guys can you guys can get a little gist of where Danny's coming from when he tells this next story, which is I think the reason why I stopped everything we're doing today to come back here and record this. What's the gear that you're using? What's the rod? What's the reel?
I'm using a 14-2 Okuma spinning rod.
Yeah.
Hey, it says.
So you're using a 14-footer.
14
All
foot.
mine are 13-foot.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're using a 14-foot extra heavy Okuma Hawaiian custom surf rod, which we've established is a spinning rod,
Yes.
but can by crazy people be used as a conventional rod.
Can. She rub at the top, but still work.
What's the reel you're using?
The HG 30.
Shimano Torium 30 HG, and what pound test is your
40.
40-pound test?
Yeah.
So just to give you guys a little bit idea, so you Saturday morning, because the tournament is from Friday morning to Sunday morning.
Yeah.
So you have really almost like 48 hours. What time you got to stop fishing on Sunday?
Well, because I'm in the club, we have to be there by 8.
Okay.
So I think you can go right up to the weigh-in, maybe. till noon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think guys can fish all
Yeah.
but you have to be there present at noon.
Yeah.
So in all
By the way.
reality, you got to wrap it up by like 11, no
Yeah.
matter where you're at.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about how you lost one. Let's talk about Danny won. Like I said, biggest. It was side jackpot.
Side
For
jackpot.
biggest
Yeah.
Ulua.
Right.
All right, and the fish that he caught was 52. 50, I think we already discussed that. But let's talk about. It's an OEO tournament,
Yeah.
and you were targeting OEO.
Yeah.
And like, what was your bait of choice for the entire weekend?
Sand turtles.
Sand turtles?
Yep.
That's your OEO go-to?
Yeah. Yeah.
And get choked back there, yeah?
Yeah. There's plenty.
All right. So, you said you're also using taco leg, though?
I had a taco with
One
frozen
taco, that was it. Frozen.
Yeah.
All right. That was just like a backup or what?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Were you running sand turtle on both rods?
Both rods. Yeah. Sand turtles.
All right. Did you even throw taco at all?
I had, so I caught an eel
Yeah.
on the sand turtle.
Okay.
And that is a favorite bait of mine. I strip it, strip
kind
the
of eel?
skin. I don't know, puss head, whatever
head.
those are. Strip the skin and fillet it so it looks like a piece of taco.
Yeah.
And that's
skin on or skin off?
all the skin is off.
All the skin is
Just
off.
like you do a taco leg.
All right.
You can take the skin right off an eel.
Peel it off, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, using a sand turtle, you're targeting OEO.
Yeah.
Go ahead and let's take it through the what time did the bite happen? Because I know that it's awesome that talking to him, he knows exactly what time the bite was.
Yeah, the bite was at the peak. I want to say it was like 3:58.
See, now when you ask what time, almost 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
No, he said 3:58.
Yeah.
That is some deep, like he knows where he's at. He
Strike,
knows.
look at the watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So 3:58. Mm-hmm. How was the initial strike?
The initial strike, because I'm running loose drag,
Yeah.
because I'm going for OEO, and they tend to hug the bottom and
Yeah.
cut. So the initial strike was 100 yards. I couldn't even get the pole out of the
holder.
Out of the holder.
Wow.
Yeah. Easy 100 yards he took.
So, which way did, we were just talking about this a little while ago. I don't know if this is Eva Beach or the South Coastline. Every Ulua I've caught has always ran right.
Yeah. Running towards Waianae.
Running towards Waianae.
Yeah.
You told me that this fish did that. So, I'm familiar with the stretch of it. It was along a south line where, like I said, we're not going to get into particulars of where you were at. But it basically started running right. And where you're fishing, I know it's usually like you have a nice little rock structure right in front of you.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you have a sand beyond that. It's not all rock going out.
No, it's all rock there.
It's all rock
I was
there.
just to the left of where that sandy spot is.
Okay.
That's where I was catching the sand turtles.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
So it started running immediately right.
Yeah.
Now, I like what you were just telling me about the angles.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where your rod is, and it starts running right. Now, you've got not even a 45. You've got more like a 15-degree angle from where you're at on the beach and where the fish is, where the line is pointed, right?
Right.
So what was your immediate response once you finally got that rod out of the holder?
I just stayed there, but as soon as I picked it up, he was pinned.
Okay.
He wasn't so much pinned, but he was rubbing. He was rubbing rock.
Okay, so you could already feel it wasn't so much the fish pulling, but you could feel like a little
Yeah.
bit of a jerk,
Yeah.
pin down. What do you imagine in your head? Like where was the fish?
I'm thinking it's not a big rock that he's on. Obviously not very sharp because we would have been gone. He
Yeah.
would have been gone. But enough just to hold him in place because at that point he pulled no more line.
Okay.
We were at a standstill. And I vision it as he's pulling one way, I'm pulling the other, and the rock is holding us in the place.
Like, is it like this? Like, okay, so here's the rock. Like, is
Yeah.
it wrapped around like that? He's
Yeah.
going this way, you're going that way. But none of you guys are getting any.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. So just a half wrap is how I feel.
Yeah, not completely wrapped around,
Right,
which would have been
right.
pretty nuts, and you weren't over the top of some jagged
No,
rock where
I
you
don't
would have
think
lost.
so.
So now, when it's pinned, like a lot of new guys need to understand this. Like when it's pinned, like you have to make decisions at that point. I mean, what is your go-to? Are you a weighted out person?
I don't have a lot of patience.
Yeah.
So I kind of, if I can, like the Ulua, you'll feel them shaking their heads.
Yeah.
So you'll feel that. So you know, okay, he's still on there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have a little more patience because I know when I stop feeling that, that's when I don't have patience anymore.
Because you don't know if it's your
Yeah.
gear or your swivel or your hook.
I don't know if the fish is on there anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you're feeling head shakes,
I
it
know
gives you
he's-
more motivation.
I know he's on there.
to stay put.
We're still connected.
All right, so I really like what you were talking about with the every so often you would feel a little slip,
Mm-hmm.
and you're talking like inches.
Now I'm trying to boost.
Okay.
I'm at this point, I'm boosting, and I would get an inch or two, but I could feel it. You know, it has that kind of like kind of rub to it when you, and so you stop, then you boost, it gives it another inch. Yeah.
So just kind of going. You said how long was the fish pinned down for?
I would say 10 minutes.
Okay, so you guys like I have had fish pinned down before. And you know what? I know a lot of you out there have lost fish in the pin. How many of you lost when it was pinned
Oh,
down?
yeah. Too
And
many.
when you hindsight 2020 but how many times do you think you lost it because you're being too impatient?
I would say most of the time,
Most of the time.
impatience. Yeah.
And it's just because that's the part is when you do have a fish pinned down, meaning that you can't take any line and he can't take any line. There's something that it's hung up on, something that the fish is stuck in. He can't get free and you can't free him. So at this point, you just gotta kind of wait it out a little bit. Give it some time. Like
Yeah.
let's talk about the
You do.
standard of how long you should just kind of cruise. I mean, like making sure you're keeping tension on it the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because I feel like it's not like a serious pin.
Yeah,
Because if I'm able to get an inch or two at a time,
yeah,
I'm pretty confident that it's going to come loose.
yeah.
It's going to come loose. I just got to I got to slow down and give it some time. Other times when you're like, you can't get an inch and you can kind of feel the fish, but you can't get an inch.
At that point, I'm imagining my lead is hung up.
Yeah, but if your lead is just hung up, you'll really be able to feel a fish that size.
Because you got a little more tether.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the lead is separate from your
But
main
when
line.
it's really stuck,
Yeah.
and a fish that size, you're not gonna feel too much of that fish, and eventually he's gonna snap
Yeah.
it before you do.
It's a risky game, but
Yeah.
I think the what I want to take from you actually landing this fish, but waiting it out. That's 10 minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes while a fish is on the line. That's like
Yeah.
that's like in real world. That's like half an hour. Like it feels when 10 minutes with a fish on the line is a long period of time. But let's get to where. How did it come loose?
So, as I was feeling it was tight, I was like, all right, let me walk to the left. Let me take some of the angle
Back
away.
from where.
Yeah. So let me go left and let me take some of the tension off of what I feel he's stuck on.
So like if you're real close to the fish and the fish is running this way and you're feeling tension, like right now your angle's this way and the fish is angled that way. So now if you're going back further,
Yeah.
you're reducing the angle that you
Yes.
have and you're reducing the leverage.
Right.
So there you go.
Yeah.
And you walk back, you said about 100 yards.
So I walked 100 yards to the left to try to ease that angle a little.
You think that's probably what maybe got it loose?
I think it took some of the tension off, so
Okay.
then I could boost it a little
You were
harder.
getting more slack when you were at a better angle?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but I actually had to open my bail, but keep my thumb because I have to walk to the left and give him.
Rather
But
than
keep
be
tension.
caught with your drag down.
Yes,
So
yeah.
you're just kind of loose spool, what would
Mm-hmm.
happen if the fish broke like right as you're walking back with a free spool? You would have kept your
Well,
thumb on it.
Yeah, I think so.
Smoke it a little
I
bit.
think so. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So fish comes loose, and you told me that it started.
Because at that point, that's what both of us wanted. He wanted to come loose from what was, and I wanted to come. So
Yeah. All right, and then now you're 100 yards down where you really wanted to be, and what did you have to do?
Well, I feel they will always run away from pressure.
Yeah.
So the pressure was coming, from his left, I guess, if we're looking out at the ocean.
Yeah.
And so he's running away from the pressure. And so I always like to try to get square with them.
Yeah.
And if I can get in front of them, that usually will turn them back.
Back to where you
Back
started.
Because now the pressure's on the other side of him. And he's always going to run away, I feel.
You know what's interesting is that the hook was on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
Then imagine if you're fighting a fish that's running right, you're pulling it
Yeah.
back that way the whole
Yeah.
time. The
Yeah.
line is over his back.
And
towards where you're at.
yeah. And I always feel they want that pressure
Yeah.
off of them.
Yeah.
Away from the pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is kind of good that it hooked up on the left.
Yeah.
It's kind of good that it hooked up on the left because if it hooked up on the right, like I always have this theory that Uluas, they don't have hands.
Yeah.
And they want to get that whatever's stuck in their mouth. They don't know if it's a hook. They don't know if it's
Right.
if it's a taco stuck to the side of his face. They want to get it loose, and what they do is they bang into the rocks. And
But this was a lip shot.
lip shot, so it's down on the bottom.
No, it was the top lip. It was under that top lip.
Yeah,
Just
coming out or going.
it was it was coming out.
Coming out.
Yeah.
So it's sticking out.
And so but that lip is so tough.
Yeah, yeah.
But it held.
Bone out his eye right there.
No, it's that there's like an outer lip.
So you talk about the membrane that's in between the. Okay.
Yeah, that
I know what
outer
you're talking
part. Yeah.
Study if you ever catch a papillo, study the dynamics of its mouth. Study the how it's shaped and understand where it hooks up. Because I mean, the best hookups I've ever had, of course, are in the sharp the bone right on his jaw.
I don't know if I've ever caught an Ulua like that.
Yeah, always in the lip. What's your
Always on the side.
Let's talk about your hook, real quick.
I use a 11-0 Mustad.
Which is kind of weird because you're targeting eel with an 11-0 mustache. That's a good size hook, man.
I'm looking for big OEO.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tournament.
All right, so Bugga is free. You finally getting some slack now. What the part that I'm familiar with, where he's at, and where he told me he landed the fish, and I've been up and down that coastline throughout my childhood, and we're talking from where you took the strike to where you landed it. We're right at about a quarter of a mile.
I would say easy.
Yeah, a
Easy
quarter of a mile.
Yeah.
And without trying to give away the spot, what obstacles did you have to make it around while you were transversing from where you took the strike to where you landed it?
Well, I had to get around a fence line.
One fence line.
Yeah, so I had to get in the water because they decided to fix that fence.
Yeah.
So I had to get around that fence line, get back on the beach.
So you had to go around it
Yeah.
and then back on the beach. Danny's always been a tournament wader, and what he means is he wades out. As long as your feet are on the ground, you gotta look into tournament rules before you do any of this kind of stuff because you could disqualify yourself if you're not paying attention. But Danny will walk out as far as he can and then cast from a standing position in the water.
And I did that all day Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were already in the
So
water.
all
It
day
wasn't like
Friday
shock.
I did
Yeah.
that with my other reels
Yeah.
and rods. Yeah.
Okay. So you made it around a fence line.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any other obstacles? You said something about a buoy,
There's two buoys in the water, two surfing buoys.
and they're about 50 yards out.
I would guess maybe not even that far.
I was trying to understand now, is it just an anchor and a line up?
It's a lineup with a float on it.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's anchored down and it's just a float. There's no other side lines going anywhere.
No.
Okay, so that's just to mark where people can and
Yeah.
different participants.
One side swim, one side surf.
Okay, so it was on the outside of it,
Yeah, it was
fish
on.
went around it.
Yeah, it was on the Waianae side buoy.
and that buoy is not very line friendly. I would take it.
I would think not.
It
Yeah.
didn't. You couldn't just pop it off.
No. So as I was going around the fence, I realized he had gone around the buoy, because that's the first time I felt rub after we got
the rock,
loose.
the initial
Yeah.
rock.
And I
And-
knew what he was stuck on.
You already knew it.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta know. You gotta know your grounds,
Yeah.
not just immediately. Because when you get a fight, when you fight a fish and you get a good, we're not talking like a little 4-pump appeal where you can skip it off the top. When you're landing something big, something heavy, it's go time, and you gotta know where you're at, and you gotta know what's apparently a quarter mile down the beach.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, we're from the neighborhood. We know what obstacles are in our way. So, how did you get it off the buoy?
I had to walk out, and
You think you went almost the whole 50? How close were you to the buoy?
I would say maybe 40, because I had the angle of the height of the pole.
Hey, what's the fish doing the whole time?
The fish is going towards Waianae still,
Oh, pretty
but not. I don't mean going. He wasn't pulling any drag at that point. I'm pretty much just walking the dog,
He was swimming slow, but he wasn't
pulling drag.
no bursts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but he was, he was still right of me and that buoy. Once I got over, he was still right of me, but now I could get back on the sand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And get some ground on him.
Right.
All right. And have you ever actually, where you landed the fish, had you ever fished right there?
Yes.
So you knew pretty much up and down the entire grounds.
I knew where the next available beach was going to be.
Were you trying to target like an open spot?
I was, thinking, playing scenarios in my head, and like, okay, he's ready to come up,
Yeah.
but I have no beach to bring him up on.
Because, okay, so just so you guys understand, where we're talking about, there is like a coral reef structure, a flat surface from the beach. It just basically comes off, and then there's a little drop off. And you try to bring a fish from the water on the drop off
Right.
side up over that without any wave carrying it over.
Yeah.
You're asking for all the damage that corner has on your line and your leader, which is already probably taking abuse.
Yes.
What was your line looking like as it was coming in?
It was already, you could see it looked like string cheese. Yeah.
that's
And it was
nervous.
already, the green was gone. It
Oh,
was
wow.
pretty
Scraped off.
pretty abrade,
Wow.
just, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. We were just talking about the line that you were using, and you said it was Berkeley Big Game. By the way, we carry Berkeley Big Game on highfishgear.com, but you used the clear for the first time.
No, the green.
The green. You used
Yeah.
the green.
I like the fluorescent.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, when you finally got to a spot where, now you guys keep in mind, like, you're facing the water, the fish is all the way this way, and you're chasing down the fish as you're walking along the shoreline, trying to keep tension on your line the whole time. So you finally get to the point where you no longer have that 15-degree angle or 30-degree angle.
I'm straight up with him.
You're straight up with the
Yeah.
fish.
Yeah.
Did you kind of pull him towards where there was an opening in the reef?
He was just going that way.
All right.
Yeah, he was tired.
Yeah.
He was tired, I was tired.
You were just basically pulling a
Yeah, walking the dog is what I call
non-swimming
it.
fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did he give you any further boost before?
No.
No,
That was
done.
it. Yeah. We
right.
were probably 25 minutes into the fight by then.
Okay.
Yeah.
25 minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes to that, you were pinned down. 15 minutes. You
Yeah.
made good time for a quarter mile.
Not bad, yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
All right, so could you just I'm trying to give you guys like basically a little input into when you have a fish on it, because you can tell people and give people advice
Right.
till you're done talking, but you'll never learn as much as you're going to learn until you actually have the fish on the line. There's just so many things that we could explain, but you'll never exactly know what we're talking about. And hopefully some of the things that you're hearing right now, you'll remember when you're fighting a fish. Like if it's pinned down, you got to find an opening in a reef, you can drag them up. How did it come up to you?
Well, I knew there was a little beach that I was coming to, and
Yeah.
I thought, okay, the next beach was a longer stretch of
Yeah.
reef. So I said, okay, this is pretty much it. I got to make my last stand right here.
Okay.
And so he was ready, and the beach was big enough, and I just kind of put my hand on the spool to just, because I don't want to put any more drag,
Yeah.
but I just want to give a little tension. And, you know, he at this point, he's just fighting the waves going in and out. You know, we're
Yeah.
only talking a foot at a time we're moving.
You think he's still upright or is he sideways?
He's up right, because I
All
got
right.
my light. I got my light on him.
Yeah.
I'm looking right at him. And he's like this. His fin is up.
Yeah.
He's right there, but he's still upright. He's a little angled, but he's still upright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's with the ebb and the flow of the waves.
Yeah.
And every time it would go out, I remember, okay, I wanted to point this out because I think this is important. At this point, you're thumbing the spool. And by standards, thumbing the spool is a big no-no if you don't know what you're doing. Because when you thumb a spool, you're basically putting on like your emergency brake.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're thumbing the spool, it's not giving any slack. Now, why Danny was thumbing the spool, and this is what I gathered, tell me if I'm wrong or not. When the waves are going out, it's pulling this dead weight fish out. And rather than let it take more line, you're thumbing the spool and you're letting the pole do all the tension.
Yeah.
Okay, and then as soon as the waves would start coming back in, that's when you're reeling up the slack. Now you're saying, why didn't you just lock down your drag all the way and do this? Because if that fish wakes up in the middle of this going back and forth and it does a run, if you have your drag locked down, zzz, pah,
Right.
so you've got a light drag, that's like almost like your secondary release, is that if the fish starts fighting, the drag is not so tight, but it's tight enough to keep tension. But as you're bringing it in dead weight, when you're boosting, your thumb is on the spool.
Yeah.
Okay. And then when you're reeling in, trying to get it back in, and you're going with the ebb and flow of the water. Pay attention to the currents and all that good stuff. When you dragged it up, were you just walking back?
Yeah. I mean, but at this point where I'm thumbing him,
Yeah.
he's only 10 feet in the water ahead of me. And so I'm just waiting for, I can kind of feel when he's like giving it up, and I'm just waiting for just the right wave just to bring it up far enough so he's out of the water when
the waves go back out.
when it goes back out. And I carry this little gaff with a lanyard. As soon as I take a strike, I put that on my neck.
Okay.
And so that was on my neck the whole time.
All right.
And so then once I had him, once I was able to beach him, now I'm holding him with my thumb still.
Yeah.
Because my drag is, I don't touch my drag.
Okay.
I leave it. And so
throughout the entire fight, all 25 minutes, you never made any drag.
I don't type, no.
Wow.
I leave the drag the way it is.
That's something.
And I use my thumb, but only when I know they're pretty much done.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's mean though. No touch your drag at
Yeah,
all. I like
yeah.
that. That's some self-control.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah.
Not even a little click.
No, I don't.
Wow.
No.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So you stuck it with the gaff, or you're able to just
Yeah, I was able to beach them, and then I was able to just stick the gaff right under the
right underneath the chin.
under the
I got you.
right here in the
What
gill.
you got? Like a little meat hook gaff?
Yeah, it's just a
Like
little-
a handle and a gaff.
Mhm.
Okay, meat hook gaff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And brought it up, and now you got to walk back.
Yeah. Now I got to walk back. Yeah. That was the hardest part.
How did you carry it?
Well, what I did is I kind of had it hooked in the gill part.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
right there, not in anything.
Yeah.
And then I kind of put the pole down, grab it, get it on the back so most of the weight of it is on your back. You got to
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
lean forward like an old man that I am.
Yeah,
You got to lean forward, get most of the weight on that. Try to grab your pole now and just hold them like that and walk.
Did you come across anybody on the way back with the fish on your back?
No, it's
Oh.
four something in the morning.
If I would have, bro, I tell you right now, if it would have been daytime, your picture would have been all over the internet.
I
Oh,
know.
look at this
I know.
hammer!
I know.
Walking down the beach with a fish on your back.
Yeah, it was.
I appreciate the story, though. Thank you very much
Yeah,
for the story,
yeah,
man. That
yeah.
is freaking awesome. It wound up being the biggest Ulua of the tournament. Biggest shout out to Devin. Devin, if you're watching, I know you watch
Yeah.
sometimes. He won the biggest OEO. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about tournaments, and I'll mention some KCC stuff. Couple KKC, sorry, Kakako Casting Club, stand-up organization. You're a member too, right?
Yeah.
They held a great tournament. I know a lot of people that participated in this weekend. And Danny was out here. He came in to get it. Where's your shirt at? Is it over there?
Yeah.
He got his first HFG weigh-in shirt.
Yeah.
He waited till it was over 50.
Yeah. That was the goal. 50-pounder.
But I just wanted, we had this conversation, a 30-minute video that we're gonna post just about a guy talking about battling in Ulua, because a lot of you guys need to hear some of the information. You know, from somebody, I consider you seasoned. You're a tournament fisherman. You're a Ulua fisherman. You dive for your own taco.
Yeah.
You know how to catch sand turtles. Somebody I've respected through the years. Even held his own tournaments, fence line to fence line, which hopefully might be coming back soon. Maybe we can do a little joint.
Maybe.
I'll be willing to do a joint tournament. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
If you guys like it, if you guys like the video, please make sure you leave a like on the video to tell other people that the video, what you just watched, is good. And if you watched all 31 minutes of it, please leave a like and share it to Facebook. Share it with your friends that need to hear fishing information. Good stuff, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Bill.
All right.
All right, man.
Hello, everybody.